And now I would like to introduce Halifax Laureate Program, celebrate the Laureate Poet of Halifax first. Now I'm going to tell you what this is about, actually. Halifax Laureate Program celebrates and elevates the literacy arts through written and spoken word. Middle-aged, mixed race and mad Anna Quon got a late start as a novelist and poet. Anna was named as Halifax 9th Poet Laureate in April. In addition to writing poetry and making films, Anna facilitates a bi-weekly writers group for Healthy Minds Cooperative and works part-time as a contract creativity facilitator for the Canadian Mental Health Association, Halifax Dartmouth branch. Please welcome Anna.
Thank you very much. I don't actually facilitate the Healthy Minds writing group anymore. Another poet does, so I just correct that. But I will talk about that in my remarks because it was a sort of a very important part of my work life. I'm Anna Quon, a short, round, half Asian, half white woman with short, curly brown hair and reading glasses who uses a cane for mobility. I've had a pretty varied work history. I'm going to highlight three experiences that really stand out for me as especially positive ones and sort of formative ones, and about what I learned from those experiences about with and for whom I work best, and how that largely because of how those relationships affect my mental health. And I'm going to read three poems as part of this presentation. So this is the first one. It's called Words. I thought I should work, but my madness turned the air blue. They wouldn't hire me to sell stale donuts. So I wrote instead for a magazine that had no money and had a Tuesday lover and cut myself with scissors. When I turned 30, I found myself happy. It didn't last. I knew that feeling in my head meant hospital and meds. When I stumbled out into my new life, there was a good man, and soon work, and always words. And though the others trickled off like spring melt, the words remained like pebbles on the grass, like frost on the mountain, like flies on fruit. And this poem begins at a time when I came off a 6-month stay in the psych hospital before going to live in a small options home, and I was on social assistance, and I was a miserable wreck and wondered if I'd ever work again. I went to the provincial government to talk with someone whose title I forget, who dealt with a pool of people with disabilities, and she knew I wasn't ready for work, but she referred me to Spencer Bevan-John, who some of you may remember. He published a National Cross Disability magazine out of his living room in Dartmouth. So I volunteered for Ability Network magazine and also worked on a grant at one time, selling advertising for the magazine, which I was terrible at, but at least it gave me some work. And Spencer was also founder of the Network for Entrepreneurs with Disabilities, which became EDN, Entrepreneurs with Disabilities Network. He was kind and generous as an employer and a friend, and he was himself a volunteer. He did everything for the magazine as a volunteer. And I think he was really a bit of a visionary in the I guess it was the late 90s. He saw a different world for people with disabilities, one that would include and support them in gainful, meaningful employment and self-employment. And what volunteering for that magazine gave me was a measure of self-worth, knowing that my labor was valued, even though I was doing it for free. I felt valued for my talents and skills and just valued, period. And this was important to me, especially after 6 months in the psych hospital, because I knew I was adding to the good in the world instead of taking away from it, which I had felt I was after 6 months the government probably spent $1 million on me during that time. And I didn't feel good about it. I have a little different view of capitalism now, but this experience also with Spencer gave me on-the-job training for what would become a full-time income for me, which was freelance writing, which I pursued for several years. And it taught me the value of a good boss. And that's really what my talk is about: a good boss, a good employer who was respectful of my time and needs and didn't expect more from me than he did of himself. He did everything he did for free. And he didn't give me tasks that weren't suited to me, except when I sold advertising, but that was my choice. Um, and it showed me what I wanted out of a work environment, culture, and relationships with colleagues. He let me be a bit of my own boss, really. And this is where I'm the most comfortable, with clear tasks, but it's left up to me how to accomplish them. And the trust is there to allow me to do what I need to do, as well as room to take initiative. And I really like that. And now TELUS is calling me. I don't know. They keep calling me. um, so I'm not their customer. Um, After a few years, I burnt out of freelancing and worked on contract for a number of not-for-profits and had some good experiences. Um, and I actually started facilitating a writers group for the Healthy Minds Cooperative, which was run at that time by Francine Vesna. And she got a grant, I think it was a consumer-led initiative grant at the time, and hired me as a writers group facilitator. And again, she basically left me alone to do what I wanted to do, and that was great. Um, and so actually what I remember Francine mostly for that, because the people in my writers group felt like my boss. Like what I did with them in mind and their needs, and what I thought would help them. Um, and also, so creating those workshops for the writers group gave me a new little income stream, a side hustle. And I developed a lot of skills in facilitation and shared my love of writing and creativity with other peers, which I loved. And it was a peer group, like people were quite supportive of each other, were kind in their feedback to each other. And that meant a great deal to me. Um, and I realized from working with Spencer and Healthy Minds that I really felt most comfortable in a small, not-for-profit environment, which I know not everyone's going to work in, but I guess I think we can learn a lot from some of those organizations where people are working for a vision and a mandate that's not about making money. It's about serving people. And I really think good business does the same in a lot of respects. Um, so I'm going to read another. Well, actually, first of all, I was working for Healthy Minds for a while in other organizations. I had a bit of a mental health blip, a big one, and ended up going to Antigonish to save my life. So I wrote this poem about Antigonish and about my madness. Antigonish. When I went to Antigonish on the bus the first time, it was pouring rain, and madness trickled out of my eyes, wild and bulging like a fish on the dock. They let me phone a cab at the library. I went to see a room too far from town where I knew I'd drown in all that oxygen. On the way home, 3 hours on the bus, I felt myself falling into myself, a terrifying disambiguation. I thought my disease was lit up like a marquee or a taxidermied salmon, flashing like a mirror ball, surrounded by vanity lighting. When I moved to Antigonish, I dragged that heavy trophy with me and nailed it to the bathroom wall so every time I brushed my teeth, I saw it staring back at me. When I came home, I left it there. Sometimes I missed it, but now I know I have the skill to reproduce it and paint by number on black velvet. So I realize I'm running a little bit out of time, so I'm going to try to shorten this up a little bit. I spent a year and a half in Antigonish. I was finishing a novel on a laptop, but for me through the Opportunity Fund. Thank you, Opportunity Fund, for that. Um, and I also got a part-time, sort of job placement due to the Opportunity Fund through East Nova Ability in Antigonish at CALA, which is the Antigonish County Adult Learning Association, where I had an amazing boss and it was a dream job for me. And I facilitated more creative writing workshops and our other creative arts workshops and learned filmmaking skills through a digital storytelling workshop where I told the story of from my life. And we also created video content that was supposed to go on TV, but made it on to online. So you can sort of see how being interested in creative arts and writing, that would be kind of a dream job. But really what made it special was Lee's, um, who really also, again, gave me a lot of freedom to do what I needed to do to get the job done, the task done that she needed me to do. But basically, I acted as my own boss in a lot of ways. Um, and I love that job so much. It taught me a lot of technical skills, but also people skills. She really taught me to put people first. And I always remember her for that. Then I moved back to HRM and I've been working a lot at the Canadian Mental Health Association, Halifax Dartmouth branch, doing, again, creative workshops. Um, and I still love to explore creativity and connect with peers. And that's something I'm also doing as Poet Laureate of Halifax at the moment. Um, and I feel like I'd like to close on a reflection for what makes a good work situation for me and probably for a lot of other people, because we all are affected by, our mental health is all affected by our work situations, no matter what disability we have or don't have. So having a boss or leader who has clear expectations that are fair and reasonable, that offers support and opportunity for additional training and enhanced responsibility and latitude to make a position one's own, and who leads by example, um, who sacrifices along with everyone else. And of course, I would add, who is sensitive and accommodating of our disabilities. I think that's something I didn't realize my bosses were doing for me, um, but they were. Um, and a leader who creates a culture where people come first and individuals' capacity is recognized and respected, where we're encouraged to grow and not sacrifice to an organization's needs, to deadlines, to money, or anything else. So that may sound idealistic, but really, I think that's the way to keep employees happy and retain them. Um, and one who basically, a boss who lets me run my own show a little bit. And I realize that might not work for everyone at every stage in their employment, but it sure as heck worked for me. I'm going to read one last poem, my alternate Women's Day poem, about being my own boss, because I think in the end we're all kind of our own bosses in a work situation. Even when we have a boss, we still have to make ourselves do the things we have to do to get the job done. Applesauce, applesauce, I make coffee for the boss, brush her teeth and make her bed and comb the hairs upon her head. Because you see, my boss is me, and that's the way it has to be. There's no one else who knows the way to make me get up every day, to go to work and home to bed, to tend the garden in my head, to do the laundry of my soul, to make the meal that fills the bowl I like to call my beating heart. One is soup, the other art, but I can never tell them apart. There's no one else, and if there were, I'd have to be the boss of her, brush her teeth and make her bed and comb the hairs upon her head. Because you see, she works for me, and that's the way it has to be. I'm not complaining, just explaining where she got her thorough training. Why applesauce, applesauce, I make coffee for the boss. Thank you.
Wow, it's like a marathon. I think I got closing remarks now. This is, yeah. Um, well, that was really incredible. So I want to thank you for sharing and also just acknowledge how powerful words can be and how they kind of leave the room and inspire and influence folks. I've been inspired to do many things differently after today. Not writing a poem myself, so don't worry. I know my skill set. I know my lane to stay in. But one thing I do and love is finding quotes that are from other folks. So I will leave with a quote that says, "Poetry is not only a dream and a vision; it is a skeleton architect of our lives. It lays the foundation for a future of change." That is by Audre Lorde. So. Um, also want to take this full day of recognizing the opportunities that we have from learning from one another and to doing things differently today and taking this opportunity. So I hope that we're staying motivated and that also we're thinking about advancing the goals to access by design in 2030 and a way that we're going to truly celebrate so that we can all move collectively towards action, and action I'm inspired to do today and every day. Also want to take a moment to say thank you to our partners and supporters who made this event possible. Teamwork Cooperative, Case Mentorability Canada, Nova Scotia League for Equal Opportunities, the Disability Partnership, Accessibility Doctorate, Department of Justice, Government of Nova Scotia, Halifax Regional Municipality, Nova Scotia Works, Nova Scotia Government, Department of Labor, Skills and Immigration, Government of Canada, Placemaking 4G, Nova Scotia Works, Halo Branding and Marketing, Ashanti Leadership and Professional Development Services, NSCDA, People Works, Forward Creative, A-Team Coaching Consulting. I would also like to extend my sincere congratulations to Simon Snyder for his long commitment to this community, and congratulations to the East Coast Credit Union. Two other companies who are here today finished in top 3 with honorable mentions, Forward Creative and the Strongest Families Institute. Congratulations to all of you. And can I just ask one more thing of you today? Tell us what you loved about today's event. There's a website link on the flip side of the agenda, on the agenda on your table and on the screen right now. And to our Zoom guests, please see the survey link in the chat window. And good news for you, for those who have parked in the hotel today, is offering a special rate of $15. And to get this, please obtain a special parking ticket from the front desk. We'll also have special tickets at the registration desk for everybody outside of the room. And to use the special ticket at the parking pay station downstairs at the front desk to receive it, your special rate. So thank you all for being here today. I hope this event was great. Look forward to 2025. And I feel like the marathon is done. Yes. So this is great. Thank you.